Hi, my name is Ibukun. I'm a PhD candidate at the School of Law, University of Leeds. My research focuses on the link between corporate governance and corporate social responsibility. And the reason why I'm very interested in this research is that I've had ongoing research interest in this area right from my master's days because I worked on corporate social responsibility in Nigeria, the issue of available remedies. So my current research works on how CSR can be promoted through corporate governance in developing countries, focusing on Nigeria. So, because this is the reason why I'm looking at these aspects, is because of the activities of many corporations, especially multinational corporations in Nigeria, have been criticized because they are heedless of consequences such as pollution and destruction of crops. So this have in turn affected the livelihood of communities whose major occupation is fishing and farming. So as a result of the activities of multinational corporations, there has been loss of livelihood, which has led to the high rate of inequality that we have in Nigeria and other developing countries as well. Notwithstanding the fact that multinationals also help these countries in that they bring foreign direct investment into the nation, but at the same time, they also ought to pay attention to their impacts on the environment. And that's why my research is trying to focus on the corporate governance model in Nigeria, whether it actually enhances sustainability practice or not. And then from my research, I've been able to find out that the existing corporate governance model is based on shareholder primacy. And now, to what extent has shareholder primacy, which indicates that directors are to maximize profit solely for shareholders, to what extent has that promoted or undermined the practice of CSR in Nigeria? So at the moment, we can see that from the structural setting of Nigeria as a whole, they are just focusing on making profit because this is due to the fact that they're trying to improve the economic growth. So they don't really care about whether companies, affect the environment or their impact on the environment. And that's why my research is trying to enlighten policymakers on the importance of actually, while companies are actually, promoting economic growth, they should also at the same time pay attention to their impact. That way, then, the economy will actually grow better, and then the inequality that is affecting developing countries like Nigeria will actually be lessened, because at the moment, the wealth is actually concentrated in the hands of the few. But if companies actually, contribute some amount to CSR and at the same time minimize their negative impacts, then the inequality rate might be reduced, thereby reducing the poverty rate that we have in Africa. At the moment, according to World Bank, around 736 million people live in extreme poverty, of which half of these 736 million live in India, Nigeria, Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, and Bangladesh. So it's very important for, while nations are seeking to grow their economy, they should also pay attention to CSR. CSR will to some extent also promote sustainable development, and this can be highly promoted through the corporate governance, because corporate governance involves how a country, how a company is being formed or controlled. If you have a country that has a weak corporate governance, will actually have a significant negative effect on CSR practice, and this will not lead to long-term sustainable growth. So I'm looking at jurisdictions like India, I'm looking at jurisdictions like United Kingdom, and I'm also looking at jurisdictions like South Africa, and trying to see what Nigeria can learn from them, because we can see that in 2013, India made CSR mandatory. It made CSR spending mandatory. And then this is India's own way of finding innovative ways of ensuring that companies contribute to social development. So instead of increasing the tax rate, India created another innovative way by mandating companies to spend 2% of their profit on CSR activities that they choose. So from lessons from India, and then even the United Kingdom, we can see that there's with the exception of Section 172, and also the adjustment of the corporate governance code, we started in 2019. We can see that these countries are taking steps to actually incorporate CSR into their corporate governance stream to ensure that there is an all-round sustainable growth. So that is the main core area of my research, how CSR can be promoted through corporate governance in Nigeria, because at the moment, the corporate governance in Nigeria doesn't even mention or recognize the interests of stakeholders. So my research will be useful for policy, because it should be useful for government. It will also be useful for corporations, because that way they are able to create other mediums of actually improving sustainability. And with the whole climate change and environmental issue on the rise, there has been much attention on this research area. So it's important for policymakers, governments, and even companies to know that paying attention to sustainability issues doesn't affect their profits. In fact, in the long term, it actually boosts their profit. Thank you.